DePaul's horrible coach, Dave Lato, has been suspended for 3 games for non-compliance. And when you get suspended for non-compliance, that means you are not doing what you're supposed to do to make sure people stay in line. Look, DePaul, you guys are irrelevant at this point. It's been a very long time since you've had some quality basketball players up there. Last crew you had was Quentin Richardson and that crew. DePaul, you really need to get your act together. I do understand. I respect what DePaul is doing, but I don't respect how they're doing it. They want to be loyal to certain people. They want to have a high academic standard. I cannot argue with that, especially if you're going to be coming to my community, getting young men and women out of my community and potentially educating them and putting them into the workforce. So you do need to have a high academic standard. It works at Notre Dame. It works at Georgetown. It works at other institutions, University of Michigan, throughout the United States of America. So it shouldn't be that difficult. But what DePaul needs to do is have an overhaul of their athletic department. And if they want to continue to be successful, I know people on the inside. I knew some assistant coaches. I knew some people on the inside, and they said, according to them, I mean, again, I'm not there, but that thing is rotten from the inside out. Again, that thing is rotting from the inside out. That's why the DePaul Blue Demons, the first team I kind of really fell in love with as a youngster with Mark Aguirre and Terry Cummings, Skip Dillard, former Westinghouse alumni. You know I got that at Westinghouse. But Skip Dillard and Bernard Randolph, that was the downfall. Teddy Grubbs and so forth and so on. They used to be a hotbed for some of the best Chicago talent in the United States of America. At this point, they are afterthought. And even when I was in high school, I went to a story program here, Westinghouse Vocational High School. And with that being said, these people barred their players from even discussing having a conversation about attending DePaul. I'm not going to say any names, but I heard a person in authority yell and scream at then Coach Joy Might, I'm not sending any of my kids up there. Stop effing calling me. This is a respected man in the sports world here in Chicago. And we'll get into that at another time. Maybe me and Chief Rock will talk about that tomorrow night. But it is a situation to whereas DePaul isn't getting the love that they used to get. It's a sad situation. And please, Dave Lato and the people who are running DePaul, hit the reset button. Get you some quality athletic directors in there. Do what Northwestern is doing. Get in tune with today's athlete. And then at that point, you literally are in the epicenter of high school and college basketball. There is not a team that is contending, that was in the playoffs last year, that did not have a Chicagoan CPS product. So that tells you that, or a state of Illinois product. At one point, we had a chokehold on the student athletes that were coming out of the state of Chicago, city of Chicago, state of Illinois. They stay home. At this point, it's like they running away from everything that is state of Illinois. Illinois fixed that. Illinois is starting to fix that. Chicago needs to, DePaul needs to fix that. There's no way in hell Loyola should be the only team this century. In this portion of the century, that Illinois did earlier in the century, but this decade, I should say, to make a dent in the NCAA tournament with as much talent that's coming out of it. You got Boatwright won at UConn. You got the boy, can't think of his name, Van Fleet won an NBA championship. Dwayne Wade, Anthony Davis, so forth and so on. And these kids did not stare far from home. Wichita State is not far from Chicago. Marquette is 90 minutes away from Chicago. Juwan Howard over at Michigan, he's 3.5 hours away from Chicago. These kids not going far from home. That means you guys are doing something wrong. And if y'all don't get it in order, we're not going to support as we have not been doing. The biggest mistake DePaul ever did was move their stupid asses outside the Rosemont Horizon with all them damn vacant lots and all that open land that used to be around the university. They should have scooped that up, put a stadium there, and DePaul would have still been there. So the athletic directors over at DePaul, I'm going to need y'all to
sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
And do something about this. Stop letting talent leave the state of Illinois. Please stop letting talent leave the state of Illinois. and you will be able to have some better results. Point blank, period, man. That's it. That's all. Now, moving forward, I'm gonna talk about this boxing thing. I know I'm wondering if RC. I thought about this when I put it on my list. Was RC gonna disagree with me? Now, uh, Manny Pacquiao made short work of Keith One Time Thurman. Everybody has been commending this man for being a 40-year-old who tapped into the fountain of youth and all that jazz right there. You know, oh man, this dude right here and all this and all that. Me personally, I think I've always said it, and I will continue to say it. I think it is of my opinion that Manny Pacquiao is cheating. The reason I think I got Phyllis from Virginia in the building. I've always thought this. I will go to my grave assuming this. So you can't sue me, Manny. I just think that. That Manny Pacquiao has been cheating since the word go. Me and RC gave me about 6 examples of people going up in weight classes and making sure, and maintaining speed and weight. But we're talking about a science that is at a minimum. Just remember this, is at a minimum, because boxing is older than this, is a minimum of 119 years old. And if a cat like RC can only bring up 8 to 10 people with all the weight classes and all the boxing clubs, the WBC, the IBF, the WBA, the WBO, the LMNOP, the QRX, TUV, WX, Y, and Z, I find that difficult to believe that this is another instance in which a dude moved up like that. And most of the guys that RC was bringing up, they were at the turn of the century when boxing was constructed totally different. People, this is why even me, even myself, I am starting to turn. I got Aaron Foster in the building, comedian Aaron Foster in the building. Thank you for joining the fun, Aaron. Please all to follow Aaron. Look him up on Facebook. Look him up on Twitter. Aaron has been a comedian for the last 20 years. He got stuff on YouTube. Do yourself a favor, man. Don't treat yourself. Cheat yourself. Check out Aaron Foster. He's a good brother. Thank you, Aaron, for joining the fun. Aaron is traditionally a background listener. I sent out a major league alert because I wanted to acknowledge the people that's been supporting me since the word go. Now, AaronFoster.net. There you go. That's another way to get in contact with him, AaronFoster.net. But I don't believe this thing with Manny Pacquiao. I know I think this is another ploy in regards to boxing. This is another ploy in regards to boxing to get you to support that nonsense that they own. Seriously, man, it's just that, oh man, we can get them to pay some more money because look, at the end of the day, look, I said this on the Saturday show. I don't know if Manny Pacquiao was tested by the VADA versus Thurman, which is the most strict testing for HGH. So it does raise an eyebrow. I'm telling you, man, older people, look, that was my man RC, and if you pay attention to the chat room, you will consistently see RC as something that is insightful and informative to every show. Trust and believe. It's going down like that every time RC opens his mouth. I disagree. Pacquiao has never reported a failed drug test. Hey, Daryl Moore, neither has Barry Bonds. Would you bet anything of value that Barry Bonds never used any performance enhancing drugs? Thurman looked so in his last fight, so he should have fought 2 fights first. Okay, I can go along with that. Big up to my man Daryl Moore. But Daryl, this is all I'm saying. A lot of people have never tested positive and have used these things. And then, as they say, this is a way to cheat. And y'all know how I feel. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. But I don't go along. I don't use that same point of reference when it comes to boxing. Because boxing, you got people lives on the line. And when you're using HGH and other performance enhancing drugs, what happens is people assume that it's all about bulking up like Barry did. And you know what? I'll defend Barry. I'm just gonna say it. I believe in defending Barry, but you bulk up and you get strong like Mac McGuire, Sammy, Barry, and others. What's the boy named Brady Anderson? Me and number one Chief Rocket Jersey Fern was talking about Brady Anderson a couple days ago. They bulked up, but with time, that's the old way. You can get strength. Performance enhancing drugs are not about bulk anymore, or they ever been about getting big and swole. That was the end result. When you were a bodybuilder, you did it so you can get bigger, you get more cuts, and you get stronger. But at the end of the day, performance enhancing drugs are so you won't get tired. The body is a machine, and it is a machine that gets stronger the harder you work it. If you drive your car at 90 miles per hour every day, every place you go, the car's gonna break down. The human body is just the opposite. The human body is just the opposite. The harder you work, the better it gets. You work it harder, it gets better. It gets better. And boxing is about age, is about attrition. It is a war of attrition. The first person wears down is the dude who gets his ass kicked. I'm just sorry. That's just the way it is. That's why the gloves are weighted. And you got a dude who started off at 110 pounds. Now you're fighting at like 145, 150 pounds. And then all of a sudden, this dude, he never drops his hands. He never gets tired. And now he's back up to punching 800, 900 times. When they first started talking to PhDs, Manny went down to punching a normal amount of punches. I saw like 8 straight fights where Manny threw 1,000 punches. I don't know anybody who's throwing 1,000 punches, Daryl. So I'm subject to wonder if you're not getting tired by when somebody punching you in your face, and this dude was taking them lumps. So I don't know, Daryl. We all entitled, and it probably will never come out because boxing is fighting with MMA, and they losing ground because your boy didn't start watching it. Your boy they got on MMA. I used to think MMA was like an alley fight. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna pay to watch somebody fight in the alley for? And now your boy watching it. And I don't even know if I like it, but I'll be watching it just to see if it's better technique. And you got people like Bones Jones and this other kid from Brazil. He was knocking folks out he's knocking this cat out this weekend. So it's actually developed more than when I first started watching it. Because when I first started watching, there's a bunch of white cats beating the hell out of each other. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And now it's more technique. It's more style to it. So your boy gonna be a fan. At least I'm gonna be paying attention more by the end of the year. As I said on Jersey Show, I'm not saying Manny is not on that shit, but he did look higher than a giraffe. Oh, yeah, he did. Hey man, the man did look high as a kite. He was looking out of it, and I believe that's why he went in there with them shades on. Manny Pacquiao and took some ass whoopings galore, and they never went in there with them shades on. It's too much for me, man. They want to get this money with Floyd, and remember, I don't know if you would listen to the show, RC. Yeah, you were in the show, RC, but I don't know if you came in later or earlier. I remember Saturday, I told y'all, this was a ploy to get Manny Pacquiao to fight Floyd Mayweather. I've never seen a 40-year-old man move like that in any sport. Tom Brady, 43. Tom Brady stand around and throw a football to people. And you can't even tackle quarterbacks anymore. Miss me with that bullshit. I ain't trying to hear it. Baseball knew steroids was an issue and accepted it, but since Bonds was nearing breaking Roos' record, then it seemed to become an issue. Shout out to Daryl for dropping science. I totally agree. If he would have came close to that, it wouldn't have been a problem. Like those are facts. Because when he started that, it wasn't even any steroid rules at all. So when people try to throw that at Bonds, he was breaking the rules. That's nonsense. I got my man 334 Bama Boy, one of the assistant listeners. Thank you for joining the farm. Much love. Thank you for joining the farm. And I got Chi-Town's first lady, former co-host with me on a show called Windy City Clutch. Thank you, first lady. Notice Manny was fighting under Al Heyman, who's Floyd's right-hand man. Exactly, man. This is a ploy to get this Floyd fight popping off. You heard Freddie Roach on the shows this morning trying to get, and Floyd was ringside. They say Floyd Mayweather left early. They trying to hype this up, man. I wouldn't pay the price of admission in the Village Theater, which was $1.75 to watch this damn fight, man. if I want to watch two old men fight, I would go and get two crackheads and